Welcome to the Land Your Bet Sports Betting Show. It is Thursday morning here on the West Coast, getting into the best bets that I have for today on the slate. 9 games in the NBA. Hopefully you saw the video from last night where we had projections and some deep insights into what we were going to expect in a few of the games here today. This is what we saw yesterday, so that's what you can expect each and every day, coming out the night before the games with the video looking at the insights into the next day's slate. And then now we come out with the video coming out around 2:30, 3 p.m. Eastern for this with these actual best bets that I have for you. So if you would subscribe to the page and continue to follow along and do all that if you like what you're getting. We are still on the heater. It is not proclaimed dead after going 0 units up or down yesterday, right? So back in on the back-to-backs here. On the back end, we've got Cleveland taking on they're at Brooklyn after beating the Spurs. Detroit is at Portland and Golden State is at Indy. And then the Spurs are also at Atlanta here after they were playing yesterday against Cleveland. Denver is going to be on the front end of a back-to-back at LA and the Lakers, and then at the Kings. And then the Lakers are going to play Denver tonight, and then they're playing the Pellies tomorrow. More importantly for this, Milwaukee's playing Minnesota tonight. I do expect them to go all out. Dame is questionable. My guess would be that he'd play. Can't guarantee that. It's the NBA. As you see all these trades going bananas, hopefully you guys are having fun watching the trade deadline. But I would expect everybody who's available to play tonight. And we know Chris Middleton is not. So I do think Dame is going to try to play. Either way, they're going to try to beat a really good Minnesota team at home and then take on a very bad Charlotte team who just traded PJ Washington for Grant Williams, essentially, and they'll play them tomorrow. We'll see who's available for them. Let's get right into these best bets, and then I'll go through the record so you can just see how we did yesterday. Like I said, 2 and 3, 0 units. Jalen Duren here is what I'm starting with. And he's really my second favorite bet, but I put him up here first because I did want to talk about him for the first time all season. Ayton is questionable for these Portland Trailblazers with an illness. Not sure if he's playing. I don't want to try to guess that stuff. Last 8 without Ayton, though, if he does sit, they have a 124.5 defensive rating. So we can make fun of dominating as much as we want. And I'm as guilty as anybody of dominating or whatever. But its numbers show that 124.5 defensive rating is much worse than what this team normally puts up when he's on the floor. Portland is allowing the 3rd most field goals made inside of 5 feet. I'm not saying he's a dominant presence down low but he does have at least a decent enough field goal percentage, defensive field goal percentage at the rim to dissuade guys like Jalen Duren more than I suppose Duop Reed, right? Who's going to be playing backup center for them. Portland also allows the 5th most points per game to centers, mainly because they allow the 3rd most field goals made inside of 5 feet, where centers are shooting from, obviously. And Duren is a young dude on a back-to-back, and I've been looking at this. This will be the theme of another bet here as well. Actually, a couple bets where I'm fading someone a little bit older and riding with someone a little bit younger because of the fact that it's a back-to-back and obviously those young, fresh legs. So with dude he was the youngest dude in the league last year, he might be he's still going to be a top 3 or 4 youngest guy in the league this year. I'm going to look that up in a minute. On the last 2 back-to-backs he's played, 21.5 points per game and 16.5 boards because he had a 21 rebound game in there. 22 rebound game and a 12 rebound game in there. So that's how he got to 16.5. The points were 22 and 21, and as you can see, so he had some really nice numbers in both of those. He also played a back-to-back a while ago against Chicago that he had a really nice game where he put up 16 boards in that one. So moving on to best bet number 2 here, Jarrett Allen. This is the fade of someone a little bit on the... Jarrett Allen's still young. He just seems like he's been in the league forever because he came in super young, but I'm going under 30.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Everybody's back here for Cleveland. We know that, the last game that he was actually questionable and ended up playing, but so did everybody for this Cleveland team. And this is what happens when Darius Garland and Evan Mobley, specifically who I'm talking about when I say everybody, those dudes back just eats at Jarrett Allen's really incredible numbers that he put up while they were out. Now we're back down to 30.5 being way, way above what it should be for him. Normally you're going to see his PR at 20.5, 22.5 max. And now we've got it at 30.5 with the added assist. The assists drop dramatically as soon as Darius Garland gets in. Unsurprisingly, there's really not much room for other guys to get assists when those two dudes have the ball between Garland and Donovan Mitchell, have the ball in their hands for the majority of the game. So with Mobley specifically back in there, 14.5 points per game, 9.1 boards. Really great numbers. Not close to 30.5 PRA, right? Once you need to get another, 6 and 7 assists on top of that, that's not going to be his game, like we said. The last 5 with Brooklyn here, we're talking about Nick Claxton playing really good D. They do allow the 3rd fewest points per game to centers. Royce O'Neal was traded as I was making the slides for this video, which makes sense that all this stuff's going down as I'm putting out a video right around the trade deadline. So Royce O'Neal is gone for Brooklyn. Not sure how much that affects it, considering Nick Claxton has been really, really really good defensive center this season for the Nets when he's been in, and he hasn't missed games in a while at this point. The back-to-back thing that I was talking about for Jared Allen as well, final point, the last 5 for him, 12.8 points per game, 5.8 boards, 27 minutes per game. That is probably where you look for Evan Mobley, who has a slight uptick in minutes, to get a bit more usage because of the fact that he's younger at this point and still just a little bit less tread on the tires, right? Like, I know Allen's like 27 maybe, he might be 28, so he's by no means like an old man. But in NBA years, with the amount of miles that he's got on him at this point, yeah, and the injury proneness that he has, that's the last point, is he was about to be hurt. He was questionable the prior game. He played through it, played really well, but still, that would be just another sort of check on the box of like why he might not play in this one. All right, this was gonna be my best bet. I didn't want to lead with it and just have people dip from the video as soon as I put up Jonathan Kuminga again, because I know he didn't hit last night. But this is just a numbers game, and you don't play it because it didn't hit last night. That means it's not gonna hit tonight. If anything, he was on track to hit it. He had 24 with the entire fourth quarter to play. All he needed was 3 more points and or rebounds added to that total, and he was there. But he just had that. If you were watching that game at all, I mean, it was a blowout by the third, and everybody sat for Golden State for the fourth. Which is also why I took Golden State in last night's video at +7, because I was like, I think this is too high and we're banking on them not being good on back-to-backs, but in actuality, they are. And a big reason for that, as of late especially, is Jonathan Kuminga being really good on back-to-backs and finally getting the minutes. So the over 28.5 PRA, this is going to feel chalky. You're probably going to see this bet out by a lot of other people, but I follow this team very closely, and I know that this is a great spot for him against the Pacers, who allow the most points per game to power forwards, unsurprisingly. They allowed the most field goal attempts inside of 5 feet, which is exactly where he takes his shots from predominantly, and he's going to be attacking. There's nobody in there that's going to scare him, and really, when they play small ball 5, like you see guys like Draymond when he's in there, even Looney, not necessarily just hanging out in the post. There's nobody that they go to down low and say post up. They average the fewest post ups in the league, or it was like a week ago, so it's probably still in the bottom 3 at best, right, for them in terms of post up plays that they run. They don't run any, because of the fact that like they're leaving the lane open for him, and even to a degree Steph. You wish they were leaving it open for Andrew Wiggins, but he has been kind of poo-poo. So more that actually helps this bet, obviously, with JK stepping in. The last time he was playing on some back-to-backs as well, I said he's a no-rest monster for the aging Dubs there at the bottom, because the last time he played a back-to-back was against Atlanta. He did not get his stuff in that game. He had 20 points and rebounds because he had 6 fouls. And Steph took 38 shots in that game. There wasn't much to go around for other dudes. So JK wasn't taking very many shots. He wasn't playing as many minutes. Even though he got 31, it was an overtime game that he could have played way more minutes, but they had him off the floor for foul trouble way too often. And that was a ripe matchup for him against Atlanta, who's almost as bad as Indy is at defending power forwards and limiting them in terms of points, right? They're also bottom 5 there. So that was a great matchup that he missed on. The prior 2 no rest or back-to-back situations for him, played against Sac, and the other one, I forget the team he played against, but he's averaged, he got 30 points in both of them, or 28 in one, 30 in the other, so averaged 29 points a game in those. Also averaged 6.5, 7 boards in those as well. And the reason those are important is because he came into the lineup and started getting 30-plus minutes a game. In fact, he wasn't even starting at the time in one of those games against Sac. He came off the bench, and Wiggins played 31 minutes. That's not going to be the case. He's in the lineup now, and he's playing 30. He should be continuing to get 32 to 36 minutes per game in a fast-paced, up-and-down affair that is really just tailor-made for his game in this one. So he should be in there getting second-chance points, getting offensive rebounds, things that the Pacers give up a ton of, and the things that he's doing the most of for the Warriors. He gets the most offensive rebounds and second-chance points for them. So love him in this game. Final bet, I saved it for last because I know some of you are running for the hills. And that's fine because I'm playing the numbers again in this one. Giannis Antetokounmpo. I know how to spell it too. I just didn't have room to put Antetokounmpo in there and try to get that off. But under 52.5 points, rebounds, and assists, -110 on MGM. Half a unit because, I'm taking it under on Giannis, but I'm not an insane person to put a full unit on it. It's just because it's what the numbers say. So I like it more because of Chris Middleton not playing. And I kind of want Dame to not play for this under, which makes maybe no sense to some people. It seems counterintuitive that with his second best option to score and assist out of the game in terms of Dame Lillard, that would just mean more points and assists for Giannis. But all 3 of these things together combined, I just don't think that he can do all of that without Dame. There's just not enough help at that point out on the wing, and even at down low now, he would have help with Bobby Portis, but that's actually worse. You'd rather have Brolo in there, obviously, and he'll be in there, but without Dame, it's just there's not much for him to kick out to nearly as much, and he's going to be relying on him way too much. So in a game where he's going to have to force it against Minnesota, third best at limiting power forward points and rebounds, and allow the fewest assists per game to power forwards. Now, Giannis's power assist number is huge, and partly why I like under on all of it is I think it's too high. If he's going to get all the dimes, I just don't think he's going to get that many points that he would need to get to this number. Minnesota is allowing the fewest points per game inside of 5 feet, which is where we know he's going to score. They have been giving up a few more free throws over the last couple weeks. Actually, too many in the bottom 10 in terms of allowing free throw attempts to the other team. But that's not the case for the whole season. I don't have a good reasoning for it. They have played a couple guys to get to the line a lot, I will say. But with Giannis getting to the line 12 times in this game, which would be a good amount, obviously, and right around what he does get normally, if let's say he makes 8 of them, which is 75, that's a high percentage. Even if we go that far and say he makes 8 of them, still needs 17 field goals made at that point. I don't like the amount of volume that he would need to get to do this, even as much as he might play in this one. They're going to try to win at home. I get that. And the Wolves are a little bit worse on defense on the road than they are at home. I get that. But they still only allow 111 points per game on the road. And as fast as the Bucks are going to try to play, the Wolves know exactly that that's not how they want to play. They want to slow things down, get Giannis in the half court, and then you can get guys in front of him, build a wall and all that. The only dude who plays a similar position to Giannis that has gone over 52 PRA this season is Anthony Davis. So do with that what you will. But that's all the time I have for you this one. Here is the summary of what we're looking at here for Thursday. 5.5 units to make 4.8 back. Jonathan Kuminga over 20.5 PRA. Jalen Duren over 13.5 points. Jared Allen under 30.5 PRA. Giannis Antetokounmpo under 52.5 PRA as well. And then we have a couple bets I made last night in the video. Golden State +7. I think you've got to take him at +6 now. And New York at Dallas. Dallas minus 3.5, not minus 35, minus 110 there. The interesting thing about New York and Dallas is we just saw Grant Williams get traded. Probably a few less guys available for Dallas, but Jalen Brunson is a lot of what that bet is predicated on. So we'll see if he plays, and if he doesn't, I love that bet. All right, how we did yesterday, 2 and 3, but I want to point this out because of the units. If you're looking at Zubac there, he was the best bet of the night for us. 1.2 units is what we put on it to win back 1.04, and Pearl also another 1 unit bet to win back basically $95 on the 100 that we spent. So the other 3 bets, Scotty Barnes, not a great look. Kuminga definitely would have hit if that was not a blowout and he had to play at all in the fourth quarter, but he did not. So that really screwed us there. And then Brandon Miller was really close, but all of a sudden Miles Bridges and Cody Martin just decided to go off. Cody Martin had a career game. He's never had as many points as he scored last night. And I believe Miles Bridges has never had 46 points before or whatever. He was in the mid to 40s last night. I doubt that he scored that many before as well. So Brandon Miller, a lot fewer field goal attempts than he would have otherwise taken because Cody Martin was firing. But the unit size is what matters. We put half a unit on Brandon Miller, half a unit on Scotty Barnes. That's what saved us. I was slightly less sure about those bets, but I took a shot at them because I thought they had good value. And Brandon Miller had great value. Scotty Barnes not. And Brandon Miller just was in a game that other dudes got really hot. Can't do anything about that. And the top 2 bets we hit with ease. Loved the bet of the day, the Zubac bet that we felt really good about hit. So 2 and 3, no gains, no losses, but we feel good about it. As you can see now, we're still 7. Everything's the same as yesterday. Up 34.5 more units on player props and 17.2 overall in the season. Last 10 days now betting player props, 21-8, and most importantly, up 13 units in that time frame. So appreciate you all following along. I know we got a lot of new people coming in. Reminder to subscribe to that page if you would. Like this video. Jump in the comments. I'm pretty sure I got back to most people. Been a pretty busy couple days. So I'll be getting back to you if I have missed you. Let me know what you guys are playing tonight. Throw some questions at me. Love to talk about it. I got other people jumping in answering questions. I hella appreciate that as well. That's tight that we're building a little community here of people talking about the bets that they're placing in these comments. As a great place to come be like, yo, let me see what people are playing. Throw your bet out. If it's dumb, people won't whatever. Don't trash people's bets. If you don't agree with it, you don't agree with it. But throw them out there so that maybe we can get some knowledge. If you have a bet, all I ask is, tell me why you bet it. If you give me a solid reason, maybe I'll bet it. And hopefully somebody else in here will bet it as well. We can all be helping each other, right? People helping people. So subscribe to that page. Appreciate you as always. And until I see you next, happy betting.